Why are Canadians turning their backs on the entertainment capital of the world? Is it a sudden shift in taste? Or is it the biting rhetoric and trade volatility emanating from the White House? For the first time in decades, our neighbors to the north have stopped seeing the Mojave Desert as a sanctuary. On the Las Vegas Strip, the change isn't just a statistic, it's a physical presence. Blackjack tables sit with empty chairs, slot machines flicker without players, and hotel lobbies that once required shoulder-to-shoulder navigation now echo with every footstep. Something is fundamentally broken in the tourism pipeline. In November 2025, Harry Reid International Airport posted a staggering 9.6% decline in passenger traffic, processing just 4.3 million travelers. This wasn't a one-off dip, it was the 10th consecutive month of year-over-year decreases, a slide worse than October's 8.2% drop. The numbers coming out of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, LVCVA, are a haunting rhythm of decline. Visitors down 7.6% through October, and hotel occupancy plunging to 76.1% in July. The city that famously never sleeps is waking up to a nightmare of vacant rooms and missing millions. To understand the collapse, you have to look at the words spoken thousands of miles away. Mayor Shelley Berkeley recently described the international market as having dried up from a torrent to a drip. This isn't an exaggeration, it's an autopsy of a relationship. In 2024, Canadians represented 28% of all foreign tourists to the United States. By 2025, that figure plummeted by 23%, representing a $4 billion crater in the U.S. economy. The catalyst? A cocktail of 51st state rhetoric and aggressive tariffs. When President Trump floated the idea of annexing Canada or imposing a 25% tariff on Canadian goods, it wasn't just treated as a trade negotiation, it was felt as a personal insult. Canadian travel agents like Wendy Hart from Windsor, Ontario, confirm that the boycott is a matter of national pride. People are staying away because they no longer feel welcome. This isn't just about the exchange rate, it's about a neighbor who decided to start charging a friendship tax and questioning their sovereignty. This isn't just small-town chatter. The giants of the Strip are sounding the alarm in their investor calls. Bill Hornbuckle, CEO of MGM Resorts, the power behind the Bellagio, Aria, and the Cosmopolitan, admitted to investors that Canadian visitation started falling earlier this year, right as the trade war intensified. "We host a lot of hockey games, and we saw visitation down," he noted. "I know it's still down." When the company that owns the arenas where Canadians go to watch their favorite sport admits they've lost the crowd, the crisis is absolute. Caesars Entertainment CEO Tom Reeg echoed this sentiment, pointing directly to the soft Canadian market for the company's disappointing second quarter results. These CEOs are watching as Air Canada removes 82,000 seats from its Las Vegas routes for early 2026. WestJet saw a 33.2% year-over-year drop in arrivals at Harry Reid International. The budget carrier Flair reported an even more catastrophic 62% decline. The infrastructure of the trip, the flights, the rooms, the seats at the table, is being dismantled in real time. A congressional report prepared by the Joint Economic Committee found that this isn't just Nevada's problem, it's a national hemorrhage. In 2024, Canadian tourism supported 140,000 American jobs and contributed $20.5 billion to the economy. In Las Vegas alone, economist Stephen Miller from UNLV found that Canadian spending supported 43,000 jobs and injected $3.6 billion locally. Those 43,000 jobs represent families, utility porters like Larry Turner, and hospitality workers who are now watching their shifts disappear and their hours get cut. The response from the North was swift and effective. In February 2025, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau delivered a 13-minute speech urging Canadians to choose Canada. The message was clear: keep your vacation dollars at home, explore the national parks, visit the historical sites of the provinces, and stop subsidizing a neighbor that treats you like an adversary. The Canadians listened. Return trips by automobile fell 38.1% in May 2025 compared to the previous year. By August, nearly a third of the usual cross-border traffic had simply vanished. While the rhetoric drove the first wave of the boycott, new federal policies are building a permanent wall. LVCVA CEO Steve Hill pointed to the rising friction of travel. For a family of four, just getting the necessary visas and paying the new $250 visa integrity fee can cost upwards of $1,000 before they even book a flight. In an era of cautious consumer sentiment, that is a deal-breaker. Combine this with the fear of ICE immigration raids spreading through the hospitality workforce, and you have a city that feels under siege rather than on vacation. Local leadership in Nevada celebrated the Formula One Grand Prix and the Super Bowl, cutting ribbons while the foundation of their industry was rotting. They ignored the warning signs, assuming that the Vegas brand was invincible. But brands aren't built on neon. They are built on the feeling of being welcome and the ability to afford the trip. The most disturbing revelation comes from David Schmidt, chief economist for the Nevada Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation. The casino industry in Las Vegas actually peaked in 2006. We have been in a long, slow decline for 19 years, hidden by record-breaking revenue figures that only tell half the story. Federal policy didn't just create a new problem, it accelerated a structural collapse. On AAA's annual list of Labor Day destinations, Las Vegas plummeted from number 6 in 2024 to the very last spot in 2025. Dead last. While officials were patting themselves on the back for record revenue per visitor, they were losing the bottom part of the distribution, the middle-class families and the loyal Canadian snowbirds, who provide the volume the Strip needs to survive. You can only charge $170 a night for so long before the vacancy signs start staying on permanently. The story of the 10th month of decline isn't just about a bad year, it's about the end of an era. The Canadians who used to fill the Bellagio fountains and the hockey arenas aren't just taking a break, they are building new traditions in Mexico, Europe, and their own backyard. They have realized that the entertainment capital comes with a political and financial price tag they are no longer willing to pay. As we look toward 2026, the question for Nevada's leadership is simple. When will you admit that the torrent has become a drip? When will you stop celebrating the few who spend more and start worrying about the millions who are no longer there at all? The neon is still bright, but the floors are empty, and the silence in the airport terminals is getting louder every day. Let me know in the comments below. Is this collapse the result of the Trump administration's tariffs and rhetoric? Or is Las Vegas finally reaching the end of its 20-year cycle? Make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into how global policy is reshaping our local economies. The 10th month of decline won't be the last, and the message from our neighbors to the north is loud and clear. They've found a new way forward, and it doesn't lead to Las Vegas.